Good evening. This is Lynx. This is a subject that I think is like the twin flame one in the video that I did a while back. I think gives a lot of people a lot of trouble and a lot of pain. And if this subject matter is giving you a lot of pain, I'm going to suggest the same thing that I did in the other video, that maybe you set it aside for a little while. And maybe if it isn't working for you when you set it aside, you might see it from a different angle and a more practical angle. And I'm going to try to approach it from a little more practical angle today. And I'm going to try to keep it brief, as it is a subject that many people write many books on, do many videos on, create courses on. And that is the idea that if you do what you love, the money will follow. When I was a kid, I saw so many books about this subject. So many people were claiming that if you do what you love, the money will simply follow. And that isn't always the case. And as I've seen from my own experience, and I've seen from the experience of my clients, and many of you may have seen, you can be very passionate about something. You can love doing it. You can open up and say, "Oh, I'm ready, universe. Come and bless me with all that you need to bless me with to make this happen," and you still starve. Why is that? Is there anything to this idea that, if you do what you love, you will attract abundance and everything that you need? There's a couple of things that I think that you should consider before you go throwing all practicality out the window and decide, "Oh, well, I'm just going to quit everything and do what I love and the universe will take care of me." The first question is, how much do you really value yourself? This is a really big piece of the puzzle that I don't think a lot of people are telling you. If you don't really value yourself that much, and we lose value of ourselves by slipping away from what our core really is and who we really are at our core. The more we spend our lives settling and getting away from our core, the less we actually value who we really are. Because if we settle and if we avoid being who we really are at our core, then we're kind of telling ourselves, "I don't really value myself." So if you don't really value yourself and you say, "Well, I'm going to open up for the abundance to fill me," it's going to kind of have a hard time getting in, because you're probably going to push it away. The next piece is how well are you at making connections, building bridges between you and other people, because no one ever achieves success alone. And how big is your vision, and how much room in it is there for other people, and how do you communicate that sense of your own value to other people, and how do you communicate their value and how you see their value to them. The next one is, are you willing to take a risk and be brave? Are you willing to face your fears, and are you willing to be honest about those parts of yourself that need to change and that are holding you back? There are a lot of people that the minute success starts to come, they're so used to being without it that they will sabotage it and push it away. The other one, the final one that I'm going to do for now, is it a realistic view? Do you want a lot simply so that you can have a lot because you're afraid that there isn't enough? So if you say, "I want $1 million, $1 billion, I want a whole network of things and everything coming to me every day," and then, as I've heard it said, you add, "and this is for the good of it all," be practical and ask yourself how you having everything and having all the resources is for the good of all. Whenever a huge chunk of resources ends up in someone's lap, there is a huge gap that is left somewhere else, because everything has to balance it out. It's in the yin and yang of things. It's in the Tao of things, and it's in all of the old texts that talk about how heaven creates balance, and the way of man is to hoard, while the way of heaven is to balance things equally and to uplift that which is low and bring down that which is high. And those of you who've actually looked around at the world today, you can probably see it's not that case. We're living by the way of man, not by the way of heaven. So ask yourself, before you decide that well, I'm just going to do what I'm passionate about and just do what I love, and everything will come. Be a little more practical about that, because I'm sure many of you have seen artists who are extremely talented, who are extremely capable, who are extremely potent and powerful in their work, who struggle and they die in obscurity. Teachers who are very good at what they do, who are very passionate and who love teaching, who starve and who struggle just to make ends meet. There are other individuals who are good at healing, that find themselves on the outside of a system that doesn't really value healing right now. There are other people who are very good at communicating, very good at creating things with their words, and they struggle to find a voice and find a place for people to hear them. There were great artists, great builders, great heroes in history that created things, made things, built things, did things, knew things, taught things. They were extraordinary. They were doing what they were passionate about, but they didn't end up in a place where everything opened up for them and the universe took care of them. Now, I'm not saying that that can't happen, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I am saying that if you simply go on that platitude, do what you love and the money will follow, you're going to find some obstacles along the way, most likely. Some people throw themselves in and they do find that it works because they do have a pretty good sense of their own value. They are good at making connections with and building a network with other people. They're brave enough to take a risk, and they're sort of looking at a way to build something that other people can fit into and that they have a place in. Those people usually find it easier than those who've been working a job for most of their life, where they've been denying who they are, and they suddenly say, well, I'm passionate about this, I'm passionate about that, and I'm just going to quit everything and do it. And sometimes in those cases, people struggle. So I think when you hear these teachings, these stories, these ideas, these videos, the books that say, just do what you're passionate about and everything will line up, maybe, maybe not. But this video hopefully will give you at least a few ideas about why maybe not. Because there's more to it than this, but in these particular cases, these 4 pieces are pretty strong and pretty essential to actually being able to build something where you are passionate, and then the resources do come to you. So, before you leap, ask yourself about your value, your ability to connect with other people, your ability to take a risk, and your ability to be realistic, and think about what kind of world you want to build, what kind of creative endeavor you want to make, what kind of business, what kind of art, what kind of what it is, and is there a space in it for other people. I'm Lucky Lynx, as always, wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do. If you'd like to schedule a reading with me, 779-302-8009 or conjurehope@gmail.com. And if you'd like to register for a class, one of my virtual classes, I have quite a few, you can contact me through those same numbers for playing card classes, tarot classes, crystal ball scrying classes, and a Mexican Loteria class will be coming soon. Remember, it is really important that you are who you are, and it is really important that you live by your core self, and it is really important that you develop your own passions and do what you love. Life is so much more than just doing something you hate until you die. And I firmly encourage all of you to follow your passion and develop and do what you love. But be realistic and practical about it too. There are some other steps that need to be taken care of along the way. And it's not that you can't do them, you certainly can. But sometimes it slips through the crack when you aren't even aware that those steps are necessary. So, until the next video, good luck.